Hey everybody, I know it's been a long time since I made a video. I'm going to shut this fan off. What I have here is a 2007 Toyota Camry. It's got 82,000 miles and change on it. Excuse my sniffling, I got some heavy allergies going on. Basically I bought this car dirt cheap, like super cheap, minimal investment. It was a customer's car. Another technician here was working on it, or at least looked at it, and the motor was knocking pretty loudly, and it was stalling out on the customer and doing a lot of weird funky things. So I went ahead and customer gave it up, and I went ahead and bought it. I've torn it down. As you can see, I left the transmission in. Probably going to pull that axle out to reinstall the engine. Engines for these are super expensive, and I decided to tear this one down to try to salvage it. Cheapest I could find a motor. There was like some JDM motors for $1,400. Local salvage yards had them for about $1,600. You know, it's not awful with a minimal investment, but I figure if I can rebuild it and you know, be into this car for under $1,000, that's not awful. So here it is. I've got it torn down. Here's all the pieces out of the car. This is a 2.4 liter, obviously. Valve cover. This is obviously the chain doesn't sit in the head. Camshafts, I got them all taken out. Chain guides, timing chain hanging here. So basically what I've come down to is this cylinder engine block. You know, I was kind of just twisting it around, trying to figure out. I listened to it before I took it apart. Definitely sounded lower end. I thought maybe upper end, something that was broken in the upper end. I've never taken a motor out of one of these cars before. I've definitely done plenty of motor jobs and engine repair. I don't think I've ever done one of these. I know there's a lot of oil consumption issues with these. This car did come in and did have oil in it. I'm going to assume that it was ran low, probably more times than it should have. I'm going to fix the oil consumption issue while I have it torn apart. I'm going to put new pistons. I'm going to put new rings. Put new bearings in it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you here. I knew something was rattling down here, so I'm like, I'm just going to put the crank bolt back in it, put a ratchet on it. I'm going to spin it around and see what I got. And I'm going to show you here. This is number 4. Hopefully you're going to be able to see it, but this is what I heard first. I heard that little popping. I don't know if you're getting it. My ratchet's kind of loud. Hear that little clicking? So I'm like, that's weird. So I went ahead and grabbed a hold of this bottom part of this rod. Piston's down in there. This is the connecting rod. Pretty certain this is the noise I'm hearing while the motor was running. The other guys are nice and tight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that cap off and I'm going to see how badly tore up the crank is. Hopefully it's not. If it is, I'll make a new game plan. Hopefully this helps somebody. Now this wasn't a faint noise. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos where it was a little bit of engine rattle, you know, on rev and pretty minor noises. This one here was super noisy. I mean, it wasn't faint. You didn't have to try to listen. It was plenty noticeable outside the car. Like I said, it was dying on the customer. Just not a good thing. So that's one of the change to the oil pickup. I'll walk you over and I'll show you the bottom part of the oil pan. I shouldn't say the bottom. So the oil pan comes off and then there's an upper pan. I got it set in here in the parts washer. Don't miss the bolt. Take this off if somebody's tearing it down and this is helping them. I'm not real descriptive here, so it doesn't really help a whole lot of people, but take this off and there's a bolt hiding down in there, down inside of here, that you got to back off, get the pan off, the upper oil pan. But yeah, that's going to be my next step into fixing the Toyota Camry 2.4 liter motor. I'm going to try to salvage this one and put it back in.